Hi, I'm Debbie. Welcome to tie-dye school. Today I am making a two-color ice dye. Ice dyeing is my favorite technique because it is always so cool how it comes out. Every color will split into other pigments and blend in cool ways, and you just never ever know how it's going to come out. So today I'm starting easy with just two colors, but you can see how many variations of shade is in just the two colors. So we're going to get started. I'll show you what you need. For ice dyeing, we need soda ash, our powdered dyes, we need gloves, our fabric, ice. This is ice that I froze myself in a tray, so we'll break that up, and then our ice dyeing setup. As far as the ice goes, you can buy bagged ice, but I just find that it's expensive and it's another errand to run, so I have just started making my own ice the night before, so I just need to break this up so I can use it for my project. So here is my ice dye bin, and basically you want a bucket or tub to put everything in, inside a rack that is propped up so that it's not right at the bottom of the bin, because the ice is going to melt and all of the dye powder and all of that runoff is going to collect, and you don't want your fabric sitting in that. So I put some bottles inside under my little cooling racks. And I like to have my rack down inside the tub like this, because you're going to be piling all of this ice in there on your fabric, and this can hold it in, because if I put the racks over the top, then the ice can fall off the sides. Okay, so here is my giant ice sheet. So I'm going to break this up in my tub here. So here is my soda ash bucket. So yesterday when I made episode 1, I created a bucket of soda ash soaking solution. So just to recap a little, this is a gallon of water with a cup of soda ash dissolved into it. You can watch episode 1 to see more information about it. But I put my fabric in there, and it's been soaking for, 5 minutes. And it's ready to come out. So I'll take it out, squeeze it really good. Okay, now it's ready to go onto my rack. Okay, so now we're going to put our fabric on our rack, and we're just going to kind of lightly crumple it up. So I'll just lay it on the rack, and then I want to show you. I just want to make little crumples. So I don't want too much fabric to be kind of bunched up. Like if I just did a pile like that, the surface here would get dye, but it might not soak through all of this thickness. So I want to arrange it so that I have a lot of fabric exposed on the surface. So now that I've arranged my fabric on my rack and it's to my satisfaction, I'm going to dump all my ice onto my fabric. So I'm just going to arrange my ice so all my fabric is covered. If you live in a climate where it snows, you can even use snow, which I've always wanted to try. I've seen that online and it looks so cool. Just make sure it's nicely covered, because we're going to be putting dye powder directly on here, and we want it to dissolve into the ice and then hit the fabric. So it's a little breezy in my backyard today, and since we are going to be using powdered dyes, they will blow around and you do not want dye specks all over the place, because once water hits it, it's going to be like little dye puddles everywhere. So, you know, go somewhere where the air is not moving. So here I am in my garage, and so we have covered everything in ice, and it's time to add our dye. So we're going to take our fiber reactive dyes, which I talked about in episode 1, but they are from Dharma Trading Company, and I love them. They are so great. So we soaked our fabric in the soda ash solution because that is our mordant and will, you know, allow the fabric to take the dye. So it creates a chemical reaction and bonds with the fabric. So I'm going to start with Power Berry. So here we go. Just take a spoon, plastic spoon, that you'll just use for dye, and I have about a teaspoon of dye in my spoon, and I'm just going to sprinkle it around on top of my ice. So I'm using 2 colors today, and so I'm going to leave room to put my turquoise. So it's going to look like a crazy disaster because, you know, all these colors are going to start dissolving and running together, and it's going to look crazy. And another thing about this technique is that if you have a bunch of colors, as long as they'll, you know, blend nicely, you can use a bunch of colors, and it almost, I mean, I haven't had a single ice dye batch that I didn't love, because it's always so mind-blowing. Okay, so now that I added all my powders to the ice, it's all wet, so there's no more problem with the dye powders blowing around. So I brought it back into my backyard, and so now I'm just gonna sit here probably for the next couple hours and watch the ice melt, because it is totally cool. I love this part. This is probably my favorite part of the ice dye project, is just seeing how all of the pigments kind of break up into different colors, and how everything's kind of dribbling down cracks and hitting the fabric, and it's just really, really cool. So as the ice is melting, it's revealing the fabric and the dye residue that's gone through the ice, and it is, again, I'm so tempted to like mess with it or add more dye or ice or I don't know, but I'm gonna restrain myself because the ice dye effect is very organic, you know? It just does what it does, and it's kind of magical, so I'm not gonna mess with it. Okay, so it's been about 3.5 hours since I put all the ice on it. So all the ice is totally gone, and it's been a warm day, like in the 70s here, so it melted pretty fast. But all the ice is gone, and 3 hours is enough time for the dyes to take in the fabric, so I am going to rinse it now. So I'm just going to dump all the dye water down the drain and give it a rinse. Okay, so I hand washed it, and it took about 3 changes of water, which isn't too bad. So here is the result. Ta-da! There we go. So cool. I just love all of the dark purple parts, and then the blue is showing up in really cool ways. It's just so neat. Like, it's just, I don't know. It reminds me of outer space, and bouquets of flowers. Just, it has so much detail and every inch of it is different. It's just completely unpredictable what's gonna happen, but I am always in love with it. So now we need to throw it in the wash in hot water with synthepol. So that's a special detergent that keeps all the colors in place so that they don't backstain, which means the color bleeds into the white and then you lose some of that definition. We do not want that. So I'll wash it and we'll see what it looks like when it's all dry. Alright, well here it is. So it's out of the dryer. The colors are what they are. They are softer, of course, than how they look when it's all wet. So definitely the reveal is a journey of seeing what it looks like at this stage and then waiting and seeing what it looks like after the dryer. And I am very, very happy. I mean, ice dye is so cool. Just, there's so much going on. There are some areas that are deeper, some that are softer. It just has so much dimension. So this is just 2 colors. If you wanted to do it with 3, 4, 5 colors, then you will just have so much transition of color and blending, and it's really, really incredible. I'll do more projects showing different color palettes and combinations, so I hope that you will keep joining me at tie-dye school and learn more about this process and lots of other awesome techniques.